laptop. Usually I don't know what I'm usually using. Anyway. Oh, what a cute puppy.
Where are you?
Puppy. I used to have 2 border collie mixes, and they looked like that. Is it border collie mix?
No, this one's a mini Aussie, and then the other one right here is a Bernese Mountain mixed with Australian Shepherd.
Oh, and my aunt, when I was a teenager, I remember she had Australian Shepherds. Oh, those are good dogs.
You want one?
Hey, can I get an Australian Shepherd?
No.
He's free.
He's free. How old is he?
He is, well, this one's not. You can have the other one. This one's almost 2, and then the other one we rescued was 6. But Thursday night, they decided to fight when we were on our Zoom, Cheryl.
Oh, they were? Oh.
Yeah, that's what that was. That's why I got up, because I got bit in the arm by Peter, but I had a sweater on, so it didn't break the skin or anything.
Oh.
That's why I got up like a crazy woman. Yeah.
My mother-in-law is like, she's like the toughest. She's like Medea, kind of like, but she's Southern white and little. But but she carries a gun and everything. I mean, she's like a parole officer, tough woman. But she had a bunch of little dogs, and she always kept like toilet paper, or not toilet paper. I guess I got toilet paper on the brain. She used to keep newspaper rolled up, and whenever they would do something, and they would be like, so I don't know if you have magazines or newspaper around or something, but that might scare them.
They rip it up. It doesn't scare them at all. Anyways.
Maybe it only works for little dogs.
Maybe.
Oh, man. And, I did have my border collie mixes. Molly lived to be 17. Sally lived to be 13. She had cancer. But I remember one time they got in a fight outside. I don't even remember why. But I had to get the water hose, and start spraying them down. It was scary. So it could be, yeah. Well, if I know anybody up in Rockford who wants a dog.
I'll keep the small one. They can take the big whiner.
Yeah.
The big whiner.
He does. He whines at night when I'm trying to go to sleep. He'll lay up on the other side of my head, and he'll just whine.
Oh my God.
And then I'll pet him, be like, okay, I'm going to sleep now. And then he whines more.
Oh my gosh. No,
So I put them at crate at night. They growl at each other, so.
I have to have my sleep. I know what you're.
Yeah.
All right, guys. But what I was going to say before Brandy leads us, I'm excited. On chapter 8, guys, my daughter knew about the enneagram before I did, and I forgot what she told me she is. When I read this, I was like, that's Lydia. That's Lydia. So I underlined some little parts that I'll have to share because it's just comical. When she was 2 years old, she was an 8. I am not kidding. She was 2. She was an 8. I wish I'd known then, and I could have related better to her because I always thought she was being bad, and I always thought she was, like not happy, and we just weren't gelling. And now I know she's just, that's her personality. It's nothing wrong with it. So it's kind of cool. But anyway, y'all, we're going to be talking about the 8s and the 9s tonight. And I'm excited. Brandy Anderson is going to lead us. So take it away, Brandy.
All right. So I just checked into our Facebook group and saw the 8 and 9, the stress with Ian and Anthony Skinner.
I love him.
Have you guys listened to him? Have y'all watched those yet? They're both like maybe 12 to 15 minutes. One's for the 8 and one's for the 9. So it's kind of in this time of what we're going through. Like, what are the things that you see in an 8 or see in a 9 that stresses them out? And what are the things that you can do to help support them? Like when you see how they're reacting in this situation, like what can you do to support them? But Anthony Skinner goes to my church. And he does, we did devotionals at the beginning of the year, and his voice is so soothing. I literally want him to read me a bedtime story.
If I wasn't married, I could say something else.
Look like
He's got a sexy voice. I just have to say it. Okay.
Like he looks. I mean, he looks cute. I mean,
It's very soothing. And so the devotionals we were doing like had meditation as part of it. And so he kind of talked you through the breathing part of it. And I'm like, oh. And so when I pulled up the videos tonight with Anthony, I was like, oh my gosh, it's Anthony.
Yeah, I got those in an email. I don't know how I got them in an email, but he does every number. So I'll share them as we get to that chapter so we can all better understand each other, because we are in a crisis right now and everybody deals with it differently. And I just think it's really important, you know?
Yeah. And it does make sense because they just talk about like how people in that personalities type, how they're reacting. And it might look this way to them, but this is actually what it really means, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like, you know, somebody sitting on the couch and binging out on Netflix is just like avoiding, right? Where they're saying, I'm taking a break, I'm taking a rest. It's more about avoiding, which is the 9.
Right.
About avoiding having to feel your feelings.
Right.
So watch those when you guys get a chance. And this has been a lot. I got this book on audio. So it was been playing in the background today. I was listening to both of them and holy cow, there's so much information. And then like this, how big is the book that you guys have? Like it's pretty big. It's probably double it. So this is the one that I started with last year. And I'm learning so much more in the audio book. Like he goes into a lot of detail, Ian does. And
yeah,
where this was more about like assessment and like, just kind of reading what it is, figuring out who you are and what your triggers are. So we'll start with the 8. So the 8 in our book is called the Challenger. In mine, it's called the Protector. So the strengths, so the adjectives that are going to describe the 8. Oh, is anybody an 8 on the call tonight? Who was our 8? Did we have an 8 in our group?
Cheryl's husband.
My husband and my oldest son.
Yes.
And I think my daughter is.
Yes. So for 8, the adjectives that describe them, because in my book, I don't know what y'all's look like because it's on audiobook for me, but like in the one that I have, justice seeking, direct, strong, assertive, self-reliant, confident, intense, protective of others, and take charge, action oriented, but also sometimes heavy handed, intimidating, excessive, demanding, impatient, dominating, and impulsive.
Oh my gosh, y'all, I just remembered this and I didn't write this in the book. When Lydia was a baby, she was wearing a diaper, okay? I had a nightmare that this giant baby was stomping towards me because you know how they can't walk? And I was scared of her. She's in a diaper and I'm freaking scared of this baby. Okay, that memory just popped in my head. We're talking about the enneagram. That's Ethan. I think Ethan might be a 9. He's kind of a hippie. I mean, he's very chill. He's very laid back. He makes everybody feel comfortable and safe. But anyway, I'm sorry. I'm taking over here.
No, it's fine. So anybody else like know of an 8 other than Cheryl?
My best friend from work. Definitely an 8.
I can pick up pieces on different people. And I'm sorry, my internet keeps going on and off at the house. It's driving me nuts. But that's why I was gone. Now I'm back again. But I can see some of my daughter and my son both in the 8s. And some of myself too. It's like, oh, I could do that. So I'm really having a hard time looking and trying to figure out what number I actually am.
Yeah. I think we all have a little bit of everything, you know, but there's going to be one that really probably stands out more. Well, did you take the test, Kelly?
I did. I need to take it over because I don't know what I did with it because I did it really fast one day when we were doing it. And there was 3 numbers that were all about equal. And I don't know. I can't remember what they were besides the 7 and the 1.
Yeah, do it again.
Yeah.
Let's see. We did talk about the wings last week. And for the 8, your wings are 7, which is called Epicure in my book. What's 7 for you guys? What do they call that in your book?
Enthusiast.
So that's the Epicure for the 8. Oh, wait. Maybe it's the mediator. I'm not seeing the connect. I'm seeing something different from what I'm reading down here about, like where we talked about the arrows. So the arrow, if it goes towards you, the one that's on the other end, what does that mean? Like you gravitate
Kind of
towards, or it's the
kind
stress
of.
one?
I think the first one was the stress one. I'm trying to find it though.
I know.
So
I'm
like the
trying
giver, the twos, the arrow is going towards the protector, number 8, or the challenger in your book.
Yeah, it says the stress number is the number your personality moves toward when you're overtaxed, under fire, or in the paint aisle at Home Depot with a friend. Okay, so that would be the 8 is pointing to the 5.
The 5.
The investigator.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, I absolutely agree with that.
Is that your husband?
Yes. Yes.
So he becomes like a 5 when he's overstressed?
Yes. He's just got to research and investigate and just drill. I mean, oh, yeah.
That's cool.
It is really cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
To prove
But
they're
Cheryl,
right.
you're a 2? Are you a
Yes.
2? Yeah, so that's it. That's totally in line with his security type is 2.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy? When I was reading through this, I'm like, how do you get drawn to someone? Like, we didn't know this, way back when we were teenagers,
Right.
and we're drawn to each other. It's just so crazy how that happens.
I know. And
So
see,
much-
I think I circled Wade because I feel like he is that person, the investigator.
Mm.
Maybe. I don't know. I'm getting confused.
There's a lot to take in.
Yes, it is.
So, so if you're an 8, for people that are 8, they do everything to avoid. So being weak, uncertain, dependent, losing regard for people I respect, at the core, ending up totally vulnerable and powerless. So that's the 8s try and avoid all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And the strengths of your 8 is courage, persistence, fairness, decisiveness, protectiveness, self-assertion, intensity, friendliness, the ability to energize others. And then the communication style for the 8 is direct, authoritative, declarative, energetic, zestful, firm, and truth. And then the things that make 8s angry are deceit and injustice, manipulation, people that don't stand up for themselves, others not responding to me or to what has to be done, boundaries or rules that are unjust and too constraining, attempts to control me.
Yeah,
Yep.
that makes sense. Yeah, I was laughing when he was talking about Kaylee, his daughter. When they were at the dinner table and the kind of rude person said that to her little brother, boy,
Yeah.
I could see Lydia doing that. Totally.
Oh, yeah.
And it's funny because like the first time that I did this last summer, I thought that my ex was a 1, but now that I think he's more of an 8 than he is a 1. After listening to the chapter too, I'm like, there are a lot of those qualities that he has.
Yeah, interesting.
And I do think they get confused because my sister was convinced that Brent was a 1 because she's a 1 and they have a lot of similarities. But I'm like, absolutely no. When I'm reading this is him.
Yeah, I think Wade is more 1. He's more 1. That's what he is.
So in my book, it has the most common look-alike types, but are not connected to the 8 is the 1, the 4, and the 6.
Oh,
interesting.
I don't think our book tells that.
Yeah, mine's like it's more of like a workbook, I think, than it is.
Okay.
Like you guys have. Yeah.
So you said the 1. What did you say? A 1 and a what? An 8.
A 4 and a 6.
Okay.
that's interesting.
It is. But I can see the difference.
Yeah.
And that's where it goes back to when you're actually looking at the chart, right? It points you how all of them are connected. I don't know, like each one of my pages have the chart on them.
That'd be great if we had that.
So when you're looking at the different types that might be similar or that might be completely opposite, or the one that's the stressor or the one that you go towards, it all goes back to that chart.
Cool.
All right. moving on to 9. Anything else about 8s?
I made some funny notes. I just got to share with y'all. You just got to humor me. Okay, so when Lydia was 2 and I went to pick her up from Mother's Morning Out, they said, we have to tell you something serious. This could really be dangerous. Lydia was the only kid potty trained in her class, and she did not want to go to the little kid potty, so she found the adult potty by herself and didn't tell anybody. And they were like, you can't do that. She said, well, I had to go to the bathroom. I didn't want to get on this dirty floor. You know, they have the low bathroom. Yeah. So that's an example, totally an 8. And then when she was 3, and it was the first day of preschool, and it was kind of a big deal, you know, and all the kids were like crying on their mom's legs. She takes off, and I'm watching her, and she's scoping the doll houses because they had like a whole wall of them, and she found the one she liked, and she turned around and waved and just started at it. It's like, she was so thick. And then when she was 4, this is another story. I'm sorry, I could go on forever, but it makes me happy that I understand her a little better now. Yeah. So when she was 4, they had their first field trip, and everybody had to bring a car seat and all that, and all the kids were hanging on their mama's legs again. And Lydia like looked around and said, I'm going to ride with Callie or whoever she was because she has a minivan. And I was like, well, excuse me, I don't have a minivan. I'm not cool. But little things like that happened all her like life. And when she wanted fancy, expensive underwear when she was like 12, you know, because I was getting it at Target or Walmart or whatever, and she wanted to go to Aerie, she made a scroll with a written like what do you call that? Petition. She made a petition for fancy underwear at Aerie's.
She's an 8 for sure. Yep.
Only an 8, and now she's a school teacher. I fear for those children. It's funny. It's funny, but I just kept coming up with things. Oh my gosh, my daughter is so an 8. So I got to make her take the test again just to prove it.
Well, if I could share this a little bit. So in my marriage, especially during this whole Corona thing, so he's at home all the time. My husband runs at a very fast pace, always has. I mean, just go, determined, do. And I'm super chill, so which is why we balance each other out. But being together every single day, whew, I'm getting a little like, okay, calm down, buddy. You need to just relax. But I'm reading in this thing, and it in the book, and it was talking about how they overwork, overparty, overeat, overexercise, overspend, over anything. For an 8, too much of a good thing is almost enough. I'm like, okay, that's what he does. Like everything, sense, yeah. Every hobby he has is extreme. When he gets into something, it's just all in. And you know, and that I'm grateful because he's a wonderful husband, because he's all 150% into our marriage. You know, I'm the queen and he like takes such good care of me, but I have to remember, like, he just runs at a much faster pace than I am, and it's okay.
And he joined the shred. And yeah. how many days was he on it?
Oh,
I mean, has he done it since the beginning?
Yeah, well, we started a day late because his birthday was that Monday, so
right.
Had to have cake and
yeah.
Started Tuesday, and by Saturday he had already lost 6 pounds.
He went all in for 4 days and lost 6 pounds.
You follow those rules, and I'm like, come on, you can have like a little chocolate. And he's like, no, the rules say this. I'm like,
I love that.
With me.
Maybe you can try to get him excited about like meal prepping, and I do all the cooking.
Well, he's meal prepping, but it's nothing healthy. So.
Oh well.
Anyway.
Yeah. Well, that's funny. I guess the more we understand the personalities, the better we can channel things.
Yeah.
Not manipulate, really, but just help them.
Yeah.
See the good things that they could do.
Exactly. And to just accept, okay, that's how he's wired. He's not trying to drive me crazy. He's just, right. That's really who he is. So I don't know. It's so cool.
That is cool.
So last year when I took this, I was a 9. So we're getting ready to jump into the 9s, but now I'm a 7. So something's changed there. But with the 9, so the 9 is the mediator, like the peacemaker. And I've always been the type of person that, like, I want people to be included. I don't want anybody to feel left out. So that's initially why I had connected to that. So
I still see you like that too.
yeah. Well, because I was a 9-7. They were both like very top. So when I did it, it was 9 and then 7 last summer. Now 7 and then 9. Or at least within mine, within the one that I did, you had to pick your top 3.
Oh, okay.
Cool.
And then figure out of the top 3 which one you were the most of. Okay, so strengths are assertiveness to others, empathy, supportiveness, accountability, steadfastness, adaptability, being accepting, receptiveness, and being caring.
Yeah. I think of my son with those qualities for sure. Just the way he treats his friends, you know, he's so kind and caring and always supportive. Yeah.
And I need to figure out, like, I need to have Cameron, my son, so he's 19 too, same age as Ethan, and to see who he is, because I feel like he's way more like me than he is like his dad.
Yeah.
So let's see. My communication style is easygoing, non-confrontational, friendly, focused, and inclusive of both feelings and facts. To others, this may be perceived as avoiding conflict, indecisive, rambling, over-explaining, and unclear about own position and role. So things that could make a 9 angry is being treated not as important, feeling controlled by others, being forced into facing conflict and into making decisions. Indecisiveness. So the things that can cause a 9 stress are taking a position, saying no to someone, and having that person get angry. Ooh, yes, your 9s are your like yes people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Having to make timely decisions and set priorities, dealing with a commitment I made that I didn't really want to make.
Ooh, yeah.
Yes, I really wanted to say no, and then
you have to learn how to say no.
Yeah. So I do anything to avoid conflict, confrontation, feeling uncomfortable, too many competing demands on my attention and energy, and at the core ending up dismissed as not worth keeping. Anybody a 9 in this group?
No. It says the 9s are the sweethearts of the enneagram. That's not me.
I don't agree with that 100% either in some ways, because when I was reading through the 9s, my husband is definitely a 9 in the sloth mentality.
In the sloth mentality,
The sloth, and then making a decision and like sticking to it and stuff. But anyways, I found that was kind of interesting. So
that is interesting.
Yeah,
my husband's always after Ethan about procrastinating, and he says he works well under pressure. He likes having that deadline and getting close. Okay, I got to do all this homework in 2 hours or whatever. It drives me crazy.
Yeah.
Thinking my son might be a 9 because and I'm a y'all know, Angel, I'm a procrastinator. Right now, right? Like, oh, we're having a call at 6:30. Oh, it's 4:30. I should invite people now. But my son is like, he is totally the procrastinator.
Wow.
Like, he loves running, so he will get up at 6 o'clock and go for a run and come home and make himself breakfast. But if it comes to schoolwork or projects or anything, so sometimes, like, since we've been home together a lot, the closet in his room, walk-in closet, is like, that's where everything goes. Like, it is an absolute mess. And so I keep saying, like, okay, we need to do this. And he's like, okay, well, I'm working today or I have class, but we'll do it tomorrow. Right. And then I'm hanging out, like, and he's doing his own thing. And it's like, nobody says anything about the closet, even though we really know it needs to get done. But like, him and I, when it comes to procrastinating, like, he's just like me.
And y'all live together. Wow. Well, it's stuff we can all work on, you know?
Yeah. I'm excited. I think between like doing the audiobook on my Kindle and then having this supplemental one that's more, I don't know, I'm definitely getting a lot more more use out of this than the first time that I did it. Because the first time I did it, I only did it for myself. So I only learned the 9s, the 7s, and the 1.
Right.
So I love like listening to my audiobook, and like he goes into like tons of detail of like certain situations and how people react in that situation.
Yeah, I like stories. I learn better by stories.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's no stories in this
I
other
love
book.
stories.
It's kind of factual. Getting a lot of messages. Cool.
So something that's, if you're on social media like Instagram, I follow several different accounts that are Enneagram like memes.
Oh, cool.
I posted one in our book club on Facebook, but right before we went on. But like you can turn anything into an Enneagram. Like they do the Enneagram like Friends edition. Like what person on Friends is what number, or the Office edition, or Star Wars edition. So it's really funny so if y'all haven't started like following any of the Enneagram memes, it's fun.
I've seen a few sporadically, but I haven't followed anybody intentionally. But somebody was telling me that they were on a dating site. I can't remember who it was. And that some of the people on there are like, I'm a 7 and I need this. And it's just really like, they put everything in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I like that he says in this book, this is a tool, you know, that we can use, but it's supposed to help us give ourselves grace, give others grace, grow closer to God, be a better person that he's created us to be. So
I think just understanding each other.
Yes.
You know, if you know, okay, well, you're about to learn in a couple weeks or whenever that I'm a 2, which I'm very emotional. I'm very, you know, and you can hurt my feelings very easily. And you know, it's just like something, okay, we got to remember that, and we got to remember this. And I just think it's a really good thing.
You're so sweet. Well, do you want to lead next week? You don't have to. There's no pressure. If you ever don't want to lead, you don't have to. But if you want to, you can.
Is next week? I don't even know. Is that
next week? Is the 1s and the 2s.
Sure.
Okay.
I'm good with that.
And if y'all don't want to lead, you definitely don't have to. There's never any pressure. And after that, it'll be the 3s and 4s, and then the 5s and 6, and then the 7 and the closing.
Amanda, what are you?
A 5.
5.
Investigator, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
I think my husband, I don't know, either he's a 1 or a 5.
It drives me nuts.
Because you want to know everything. But
I analyze and analyze and analyze, and I love learning more stuff. I'm like that random book that people keep in the bathrooms of like random facts.
you know, my husband, he gets real like anxious and worried if he doesn't have something he's studying. He has to always be studying something. And right now he's studying for this big pharmacy test. He's been a pharmacist for how long have we been married? Like 27 years? Anyway, he's been doing it that long. And he just loves learning. And he's taking this big test. I'm like, do you get more money for this or something? He's like, no. And it's a $600 test. But Vanderbilt will pay for it if he passes it. So I'm sure he'll pass it. He's like on a mission. He just studies. He'll set the timer for like 5 hours. But he gets up every hour. He has it set where he gets up every hour and does a walk or something.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I've been like struggling because I was in school and I'm taking a pause right now, and I'm like, I need to study something.
Yeah.
I need to study my medical terms and all this.
Do you want me to make a test for you?
No, please don't. That's the funny thing is I'd rather write a paper than take a test. I just get so stressed out because with my school, it's all time. So only like for the finals, you get like an hour and a half, and then your quizzes, it's 20 minutes. So when I was in my med term, you remember, Cheryl, me studying at your house med term?
Yes.
Gosh.
Stress.
Thank God for Google sometimes to get me through some of those tests where I'm like, that was a term we learned?
No, I could not go back to school. I'd have to take tests and all that. I would be miserable.
Yeah. It's not, I enjoy it.
Yeah, that's good. You see,
I'm starting back up hopefully in July. Just still such a long time away.
You can do it. Get books online. Find something to learn.
That's true.
Yeah, absolutely. Kelly, do you have anything to say? I hate that I can't see her body language and
Oh,
I guess
okay.
not.
She's out.
Her internet went out again.
That's
Oh my
good
gosh.
timing.
Okay, I'm gonna stop the recording now. I forgot it was still recording.